Welcome to Safety and Compliance Chats with Amy and Deanna, where compliance meets humor and real talk. I'm Amy Wood, your HIPAA cybersecurity expert, and I am joined by Deanna Otts-Whitfield, Ocean Infection Control Powerhouse. So let's get started. So today we're tackling social media and HIPAA because patient selfies without consent can land you in hot water.
And I'm Deanna on workplace violence prevention because dental offices aren't immune to angry patients or even stressed staff. In fact, while less than 20% of workplace injuries happen to healthcare workers, they do suffer from 50% of all assaults. Scary,
That's a terrible statistic.
isn't it? Hmm.
Yeah. Well, on my end, never post patient information, even those before and after images, without consent, written consent. And they are fantastic to show, especially in the office. I've seen them. I've seen little books in the reception area. I've seen on social media, on websites. They're fantastic, but you still need consent for that.
Mm-hmm. That's a really important thing to remember, Amy, for sure. Another thing is, you want to train your staff on recognizing warning signs and even de-escalating tense situations. You never know when something's going to happen in your office or right outside your office door. I would advise team members to have a safe word or even a phrase that they could use in times of these tense situations. Something like molar eclipse, whether you're wearing radios in the office or you have a chat system set up. Maybe something a little more subtle like Dr. Smith's dog is here, or can someone check the crown room? Something to indicate that we need to pay attention to what the situation is in the office. Now, we have workplace violence resources for you if you don't know where to start or if you have questions. But remember, safety first and train your staff members.
Yeah, they are your best asset and
Mm.
they need to be protected. So do the other patients that are in the office. And people are a little cray-cray right now.
I know, it's scary.
No,
It's a scary
it's
world.
such a horrible topic, but it needs to be talked about. And I mean, we're all about being proactive and planning for your failures because
Mm.
it's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
When?
And just like basic life support, you don't do it because, I mean, you do it because you have to, but that's not the reason
No.
that it's required that you do it
Mm.
every 2 years. It's so that you have the rote muscle memory to know what you're doing when faced with that horrible, stressful situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, I want you to remind everyone in the office that social media posts are permanent. Once it's online, it's out of your hands forever, even if you try to delete it. So there's two things I can think of off the top of my head. The first is a client was having a holiday party at the office after hours. No one was there. And the assistant took a picture of the doctor trying to fix a cabinet in the office and said, even the doctor can fix everything in the office. And unfortunately, they were having alcohol at this holiday party, and there was a bottle of beer on top of the counter, and they were in their scrubs. So that could have been a malpractice lawsuit easily in that situation if someone had seen it. Now, fortunately, I follow everyone that I work with, and I saw that and I said, take that down. That's a liability. Try to do it differently. Let's crop it so there's no alcohol in there. Something, anything. And the other one I can think of was an office that had a team member that was taking a daily selfie for Instagram. And in the background, this team member was taking a picture in the lab, and behind her was the daily schedule. So every work day for over a year, you could see the daily schedule. And clearly, if you scrolled in, zoomed in a little bit, you could see the names, the appointment type, how much they were expecting, if any discounts were made, and even notes on any upsell opportunities were handwritten in. So a lot of that is considered protected health information, and it should not be publicly available for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, some staff members, they'll do it for their personal page but they forget that they're at work, and that's included in their personal page. When we're talking about this subject, sometimes they were probably only thinking about the office's private page or, social media page. So that's a really important topic to remember for everyone in the office. I think it's really important that each dental practice create a clear plan that's really designed for handling aggressive behavior, whether it's from staff members that are on the team or whether it's from outside people that come into your practice. Maybe it's not even anyone that comes into the office, but things can happen outside, right? And everyone in the practice should know emergency contact information for those members of the team. We talked about living in the world that we're in today, and there are riots that happen, and you may be in an office that are in the midst of these riots that are happening. You never know. It may not directly affect you in your practice. It can be right outside your front door, but having just a plan in place and knowing who to contact in those emergency situations. Amy, in those OSHA manuals that I provide for our clients, I make sure that I find all the local information, the non-emergency police information, your local fire department, your local health department. That is each customized for each client of ours when they have an OSHA manual that's written by me.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the interesting thing is OSHA and HIPAA, this is where they collide because disaster preparedness overlaps here. So when you're talking about riots or protests that get out of hand or workplace violence, or, that kind of goes hand in hand with how we have to prepare in the HIPAA world. And I actually have two clients in downtown Oakland, California, and their area is very active with protests that sometimes get out of hand. And so, for an office like that, we have to think more in depth about physical security and how to do an evacuation plan and how to protect assets that are in the practice, and not just, how to protect the people. It's the computers, the server, the really expensive equipment that dental offices get overcharged for. So there's a lot more to consider than just, the complaining person at the front desk that's threatening violence.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really neat that you mentioned this. I hope that we are jogging some of these managers, these practice owners, their memories. They may not have ever heard of anything like this, having a plan that doesn't necessarily just affect the practice, but stuff that's happening outside the front door. So if you've got any questions, you know where to find us at Copper Penny. Amy, take it away. It's joke time.
It's joke time. Okay, here's the one I have today. Why did the dentist selfie go viral?
Why?
Because he didn't break HIPAA.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's lame.
All right, all right, all right. And why did the angry patient leave quietly?
Why?
Because the team knew how to handle the drill.
Oh,
Boom, boom.
good. And
Twofold,
double meaning
twofold.
on the word drill.
Yes, yes, twofold, twofold.
It took me a second to get that one.
I hope you're sterilizing your handpieces, by the way,
Yeah, yes, please.
between every patient.
The more I hear from you every time we do these and every time we talk, the more grossed out I get about people. So please listen to Deanna because I don't want to continue to be grossed out.
We know y'all have everyone's best interests in mind. And while we're at it, you've been listening to Safety and Compliance Chats with Amy and Deanna, keeping dental practices compliant one laugh at a time. And we've got plenty, Amy and I. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode of us chit-chatting, and send us your compliance questions. Until next time, stay safe and keep those records locked down. Smiles.